There is no doubt that the atmosphere in a church is enormously enhanced by the play of sunlight through stained glass, warming the interior with colour. In medieval churches, the windows illustrated Bible stories for congregations that could not read, or reminded them of what to expect in heaven or hell. Today, we can all read the Bible for ourselves, but they still serve to illustrate and remind us of familiar scenes from the Bible and life of Jesus. St. Mark's was originally furnished with plain windows, with the intention that they should be replaced with stained glass as benefactors could be found. It was the tragedy of the First World War that began the process, and most of the windows we now enjoy were given by grieving families in memory of their sons. Entering the church through the west door gives the visitor very little to look at. Only the east window is visible, above the high altar, and the design is intricate and not clear from a distance. A walk down the centre aisle reveals the remainder of the windows, bay by bay. And from the chancel, all the large windows can be seen. The east window was donated in 1916 and has 5 lancets. The central lancet is a depiction of Christ in glory, with the archangels Gabriel and Michael below. On either side, from left to right at the top, are depictions of several saints. At the bottom, there are angels playing various musical instruments. This was originally to be a rose window, but that was rejected as it was considered to be too Anglo-Catholic for St. Mark's. There are 4 large windows in the transepts, each with 3 lancets, and 2 of them contain stained glass. The north window is very important to St. Mark's, as it commemorates the life of Edward Harrison, who died in 1910. He came from local wealthy farming stock and generously donated the land on which the church is built. The window depicts the Nativity, the top left lancet showing the presentation in the temple, with Simeon holding the infant Jesus, and on the right, the flight into Egypt. In the south transept opposite, the window commemorates the First World War. It depicts the Last Supper in the centre, and each side Jesus breaking the bread at Emmaus, and top right praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. There are 7 stained glass windows in the nave aisles, including the most richly coloured window in the church. It depicts the angel giving the news of the resurrection to Mary Magdalene and Mary the mother of James, when they went to the sepulchre on the first Easter morning. This window is in memory of and designed by John Henry Durl, a one-time resident of Green Lane, Purley. Born in London in 1859 and a graduate from the West London School of Art, Durl became an assistant at William Morris and Company's shop in Oxford Street. His talent was recognised early, becoming the chief designer, and on the death of William Morris, he was promoted to the position of artistic director of Morris and Company and the Merton Abbey Works, where he worked for the next 30 years. He died in 1932. All but 5 of the original plain windows in the church and Lady Chapel have been replaced, the most recent being a gift from St. David's, a local school with close connections to St. Mark's. Its Arthurian theme illustrates the school hymn, "When a knight won his spurs in the stories of old, he was gentle and brave, he was gallant and bold." Turning back to the west end, the view is dominated by the great west window, rather overshadowing the beautiful and intricate baptistry window below. The west window is best seen from the chancel, but deserves a closer look. It is really 3 windows, a large central panel with 3 lancets, flanked by a single lancet either side. It is a celebration of the day of Pentecost, depicting the disciples in the upper room and the coming of the Holy Spirit as tongues of fire, and below Peter and the apostles preaching to the multitude in Jerusalem. More prophets are shown, with also David and his harp, Peter with the keys of heaven, Solomon and his temple, and Paul with a sword. Each section is separated by intricate depictions of vine leaves. The windows were all cleaned and repaired as part of the church's centenary celebrations in 2010, and now look as they did when first created, with no dirt to dim the bright colours and subtle artwork. St Mark's was built at a time when the great Victorian revival of stained glass was nearing its end, and the designs of the windows reflect that. For the congregation, for visitors, and for future generations, the windows will continue to be a colourful reminder of the story of the Church of St Mark's and of Jesus himself.